Hi, I'm Tom Loschiavo, Education Manager at SPARKvue Scientific.
And I'm Ron Fieldhouse, Training Specialist here at PASCO.
And today we're going to use the wireless pressure sensor to do a Boyle's Law experiment. The Boyle's Law experiment, we have a file for you available online. So I downloaded that, and I'm going to open that up in SPARKvue. It's a pre-configured file with volumes in a table and a graph display, and there's also a calculation for inverse relationships in it. And it's also set to manual sampling, which is required for this particular experiment.
All right, to begin, I'm going to turn on the sensor. It is connected to parts that come with the sensor. It has a syringe, it has some tubing, and a connector that attaches the sensor to the tubing.
So now that he has the sensor turned on, I'm going to connect that sensor right to SPARKvue through the app using the Bluetooth low energy of the sensor. I just touch on Bluetooth. I don't have to go into the settings. My sensor pops up. I see the ID number, which is the same as the ID number on the device. I touch it. I see that it's connected here, and
once it is connected, I do notice that the red light is now flashing green.
So now we're ready to start collecting some data. So I'm going to hit done, and I'm going to hit start.
Okay, the first setting, the first volume that I see is 45. So I'm going to pull the sensor back to 45 and hold it right there.
So once that pressure is stabilized, I'm going to hit the check to keep that value. And we're going to start to see the relationship between pressure and volume to build Boyle's Law.
All right, I'm going to move it to 40 and hold it. And once it stabilizes, once I hold it steady enough, Tom's going to hit the check again.
There we go.
My next number is 35. Let me move it in. Now this time I started in the middle of the syringe, so this is pretty ambient pressure. I just have to adjust it a bit. There it is. There's 35.
And check.
Now from here on out, I'm going to compress it a bit. I'm at 30.
And it's stable. Check. And we see the graph being built on the right side of the screen.
Okay, I'm going to hold it at 25. There it is, Tom.
Check.
Push it down to 20. I'm there.
Check. And
I'm going to compress it to 15. You can see that this is a two-person lab.
definitely. And ready?
Yep.
Check.
Awesome. Now I'm going to just let it go.
So now that I have all the data collected for the data points that are in the pre-configured file, you can add more points or change those points if you want. I'm going to hit stop. And I see the relationship, and I can use my graph tools to scale that to fit, and I see this nice inverse relationship between pressure and volume.
And it is a curve like you would expect.
Because we have the ability to do some calculations in here, we've actually built another graph that is pressure and the inverse of the volume, which is a calculation we used. And now, instead of this curve, we see a nice straight line. And we can apply a fit to that line because we have these tools available. So I'm going to use the linear fit tool. And we have a nice fit with a nice correlation between the pressure and the inverse volume.
And we could explain to students that the slope of that line is the constant for Boyle's Law.
Right. So simple experiment using the components that come with the pressure sensor to do Boyle's Law. A very common lab in lots of chemistry classes. The data analysis tools right in SPARKvue using the wireless pressure sensor. So for this and other resources about the pressure sensor and other wireless sensors, go to pasco.com/wireless. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.